Hi all, my name is Iris Grace and I went to Emerson from kindergarten to 8th grade. I'm currently an 11th grader at Skyline High School and I run track and cross country and that's pretty much all I do.
Hi, I'm Hannah Ghani. I'm also a junior at Skyline and I row a lot and I went to Emerson from 3rd grade to 8th grade.
I'm Charlie Stetson. I went to Emerson from 6th to 8th grade, and I have a brother here who's in 6th grade this year. I'm a freshman at Skyline High School, and I'm very heavily involved in the acting portion of the theater department.
Hi, I'm Avery. I went to Emerson from 6th through 8th grade. I'm currently a sophomore at Green Hills, and I do volleyball, track, and I do Mother UN as well.
Hello, my name is Jasper, and I'm currently a freshman at Detroit Country Day, and I joined Emerson at 7th grade, and I sail.
Hi, I'm Desmond. I started at Emerson in 3rd, then went through 8th. I'm currently a sophomore at Washington Technical Middle College, and I spend most of my time split between 2 different robotics teams, one at my school and then one that I do on my own.
Thank you all. So we're going to start with, we've got 5 different sort of areas that we're going to focus on. Alums are going to jump in and share stories based on the questions, and then and we'll go from there. We might have time for questions at the end. We'll see how long this goes. But we're going to start with Avery. And Avery, looking back, in what ways did Emerson feel like a personalized experience for you, academically, creatively, or socially? And were there particular projects, teachers, or opportunities that felt uniquely yours?
Yeah, so when I was at Emerson, I started playing volleyball and basketball in 7th grade, which were totally new to me. But Emerson gave me the opportunity to try those out because it's a very open environment for that. It also gave me the opportunity to go into student council, which was a really good experience and something I brought into high school for public speaking assignments and other things. There are 2 assignments that definitely stand out specifically to me. One of them was an English assignment in 7th grade. We got to write a historical fiction short story about an immigrant. We did a lot of research before that and I really enjoyed that class, and that assignment was probably one of my favorite from that year. Another one is our 8th grade history papers. They took a lot of work, but they definitely got me ready for high school and the work I would have to put in, and also just how to write a good, informative paper.
Thank you.
So I was part of the robotics program, and that was very special because it was almost my first hands-on experience with machines and stuff, and I think that blossomed my passion for mechanical engineering, which I'm looking forward to maybe in college, hopefully.
Thank you. So the next question is about relationships and community. So Emerson places great value in relationships. Can you share a story about a teacher, advisor, or classmate who made a lasting impact on you, and what made that relationship meaningful? Charlie, we'll start with you.
Okay, so I have a couple, and by a couple I mean 2 examples. So I was part of the Quiz Bowl team. That was definitely one of my most favorite things that I ever did at Emerson. It's a unique experience. Definitely, especially if you've never gone to a school where that's a thing, it's very different. But I felt like it was something that I'd never done before, and I think I immediately felt welcomed by both the coach, our lovely Mr. Seymour, back there, and also my teammates. And when I first started, the team that I was on didn't have a lot of the people that were in my same grade, but I just felt like they really accepted me, and I created kind of a close-knit community for myself, and I'm still actually, to this day, in contact with a lot of the people that I met in Quiz Bowl. And even some of them are still here. They're 7th graders and 8th graders, and I'm a 9th grader, but I still talk to them almost every day. And I think that's definitely a unique thing. Another one is like, I made a lot of cross-grade friendships here, and I feel like that's something that I never would have imagined doing at my other school. Is like, I would never deign to lower myself to be friends with a 6th grader, you know? But I have made a lot of friends who are younger than me or older than me, and I felt like that was a really good experience to open myself up to unique perspectives. And also, it's kind of fun because then you get to, you know, mentor younger kids through experiences you've been through, and you also get to learn new things about what might be coming up from older kids, and I just thought that was something that was really great. I think part of that is the small class sizes and also the very welcoming community. So.
Yeah, so being at Emerson for 9 years, I think gave me ample opportunity to get to know so many incredible teachers, whether that be from the friends I made, one being Hannah. I met her in 3rd grade, and she is one of my best friends to this day. I'm so incredibly grateful for the bond we have, and I think that is partly due to Emerson being able to kind of forge that relationship due to the small class sizes and just being able to spend more one-on-one time with my peers and classmates. Every year that I had at this school, I had a teacher that made a lasting impact for me, so it's really hard for me to pick out one in particular. I think one example of a teacher that made a lasting impact for me was my Mandarin Chinese teacher, Tao Shi. It was a really difficult class, but she gave me all of the extra support that I needed to go into high school. I just finished up with Mandarin Chinese 4, and it really, I think, made me who I am today, just being able to put myself through those challenging situations and then having the support of a wonderful educator by my side.
Thank you. So speaking about high school, how do you think Emerson helped prepare you academically, socially, or emotionally for high school and then the experiences that followed?
So the high school I go to, Washington Technical Middle College, is a little different from an ordinary high school where it allows me to take college classes. And Emerson really has now shown me how well it prepared me for the future experiences that I'm going to have and have had at this high school where I can take college classes. One example is the really rigorous math program here that allows students who want to excel and try their best in math to push themselves and be challenged every day. So now going into advanced math classes in the college, it really has just shown me that Emerson has been a truly invaluable experience in terms of note-taking, being ready to handle the homework load that you're going to experience, and how to get help for things that you might not understand. So it's just been a really academically rigorous experience from Emerson that has made high school a much better experience for me.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I feel like a way that Emerson prepared me more socially is the fact that through the small class sizes, you're kind of forced to talk to everyone in your grade, including people who might do different sports than you or like have different interests than you, because I go to Skyline, which is a very big public high school, and once you go to high school, I find that everyone kind of finds themselves just socializing with a little subgroup, usually based on a sport you play or an extracurricular you do. And so going into high school with the ability to socialize with people that were really different from me and a lot of different aspects is a value I still carry with myself, and I think I find it very helpful to be able to have the confidence to talk to anyone, even if it might not seem like we have common ground.
I might really quickly add a third one on there. I feel like having close connections with teachers really helped me develop my ability to speak to adults, which is something that is difficult for a lot of teenagers, I would say, from my experience. And I think it made it a lot easier for me to be able to ask for help when I was struggling, and now that I'm in high school, be able to advocate for myself, especially when it comes to authority figures like administration or teachers. And I think that's definitely something that is unique to Emerson that is a really helpful skill in high school.
So again, speaking of that confidence, what aspects of your Emerson experience helped you grow most as a learner or as a person? And how have those skills or qualities shown up in your life since leaving Emerson?
I think that with like the tight-knit community, I really had like to put myself out there to like make new friends. Since I was a new, I came at 7th grade, so a lot of like friend groups had been already established. So I tried to make new friends, and I think I did. So it really prepared me in that social side of high school, and also like for my confidence. Has like really prepared me for like the new like harder classes and stuff. So.
Yeah, I'll add on. I feel like Emerson really gave me the opportunity to express myself freely and learn about myself as a person. I think I went through a lot of change throughout my years at Emerson, and I was always surrounded by a community who was very accepting of me, and I think that has now helped me to kind of find a better understanding of who I am and what I stand for. I also think that, harping on the sports aspect, I was able to try out so many different sports at Emerson, like basketball, soccer, cross country, track, and I think that also gave me the opportunity to get to know new people and figure out what I liked and what I didn't like. So.
Going off of what Irie said, Emerson showed me robotics for the first time ever, which was really transformative for me because it's what I spent for more or less all of my time on, other than homework, of course. But having that experience where I can explore what I want to do with the rest of my life and helping me go deeper into the things that I find I want to focus on, Emerson really helped me find a good track that I can follow in life to become successful in the things that I find passion in, like robotics for me.
Thank you. So we've got a lot of students here in the audience. So alums, if you could give current Emerson students one piece of advice to help them make the most of their time here, what would it be? This is for everybody.
I would definitely say try everything. Like Emerson, like I said, is really open. So like try robotics, try speech and debate, try student council. Because then when you get to high school, you have like a broader range of things that you can do and that you've tried. It really helps you like pinpoint what you want to focus on, because in high school, like it starts to get like a little bit more specialized. Like pick your electives based on what you like. I also think like try any sport you want, even if you don't think you'll be good at it. Like I was definitely not good at basketball my first year, but it's a really supportive team, so I got a lot better, and it was like a really core memory from Emerson for me.
Yeah, something else that I think is a piece of advice I've definitely thought is more important the longer I go on in high school is, in Emerson, don't take for granted how passionate each teacher is about their subject, because it's something that makes the learning so much deeper and feels so much more personal. And if I'm looking for a specific example, something is like Mr. Nolan. When I was here, he taught like 7th grade science, and he's really passionate about the environment, and you can tell because he would tell us like what he did at home with his house, and he would show us his garden. And knowing that your teacher cares so much about what they teach that they make sure it's applied in their everyday life just makes you really feel like you're learning from someone who also wants you to learn and be passionate about it.
My advice would be to step outside your comfort zone. So I also joined the student council in my 8th grade year, and that really forced me to like do some more public speaking, which I'm still getting better at, but I think that really like helped me improve in that.
My advice to the students here would probably be to just take a step back and slow down. I think that sometimes in the past I had so much urgency to try and finish that next assignment or get to this next week in school or get to the next grade, but I think just being able to appreciate where you are currently and appreciate all the opportunities that are being given to you and just feel like, no, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay and you're gonna get to where you wanna be. So yeah, just take a breath and just slow down wherever you are.
I would say that something I wish I would have known a little earlier at Emerson is that you should cherish your time here because it's going to be a really nice time in your life where you have teachers that are going to be there to help you, which I think is one of the biggest things that makes this school so great, is that your teachers want to see you succeed. They want to know how your life is going. They want to ask how you're doing. And a lot of other schools aren't going to give you an experience where you can count on your teachers to not just be there when you have an assignment due the next day that's really big, but that are going to, follow you through life and always be someone you can trust and talk to.
I really miss going to Emerson, and I wish I could go forever. But definitely, Emerson has so many amazing and unique opportunities, and you should take advantage of those. Teachers who are very, very intelligent and passionate about what they teach, and you should not be afraid of them. Maybe some of them are a little bit intimidating, but you can always talk to them and ask them for help, and if you need anything, they're always there for you, and they're all really nice and supportive, even if they seem a little bit scary sometimes when they're assigning you homework. I don't know. Also, when I was here, I think the counselor might be different, but the school counselor is a really great resource, and there's also, if you're a younger student, the people at the capstone, the 7th and 8th graders, especially if they've been going to Emerson for a long time, they know what they're doing, and you can ask them. And the people who go here are really nice, I promise, so they'll also be able to help you. So just keep all of those things in mind and have a great time.
That was wonderful. You're going to take all that advice, right? Yeah, okay. We've got a couple more minutes, and I do want to see if there are any questions in the audience. We're happy to take questions. Again, I did give them a few of these questions ahead of time, so they were prepared. But if you have other questions that are burning that you'd like to ask of any of our alums, they're here and ready to give you their thoughts. Or you're just waving. You're not. That's not a question, Victoria.
I have to go home.
Okay.
I don't want to be rude.
Yes.
I have a question. I wonder if any one of you participate in Science Olympiad when you are at Emerson?
Yeah, I did Science Olympiad when I was in 5th grade for 1 year, and I did the program that's called Build It, Write It. I think it's very niche, and you sit on one side and there's a divider between you and a student, and you have all these eclectic objects, and you build some type of contraption, and then you try to describe it to them, and they try to draw it. So it's very communication skills based, being specific but concise, because there's a time limit with your communication, I think was the goal.
I never competed, but I did for a small amount of time because there was a conflict with Quiz Bowl, but I did for a small amount of time participate in Science Olympiad, and Mrs. Kwan is a really great resource if you are looking for more information. I think she was in charge of that program at the time. She's the 8th grade science teacher, so if you want more information about that, that's who I would go to.
Other questions? Yes?
How did it feel going from such a small school for those of you who went to a substantially larger school for high school?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I go to Skyline, and there are, I think, around 300 kids in my grade, so going from 30 kids to 300 kids definitely was a huge change. But I do have to say, I was super excited to go to a bigger school. I think it gave me the opportunity to reach out and meet so many new people while also being able to maintain relationships that I made at Emerson. It definitely took time to adjust to, and I would say now it's pretty much a norm, but I think you kind of find your people, and especially through extracurriculars like sports or clubs or theater or whatever you might do, it makes it a lot easier to make those relationships, but it's definitely not impossible.
I'm curious, how many of you did something in when you were a freshman in the fall? Did you do a fall activity that helped you plug in right away? So when we talk with families as they're transitioning from 8th grade to 9th grade, one of the things we like to offer is an opportunity to just sort of help guide you in that process. And I always make the recommendation to every family to find something in the fall, particularly if you're going to a larger school, but even any school, and plug into that activity in the fall, because that takes a large school and makes it that much smaller. As they've said, you find your people around the activities that you're going to do. It could be the band or orchestra, it could be theater, it could be a sport, it could be robotics, it could be student council, it could be anything. And so finding something in the fall to plug into makes, again, that big school that much smaller. We've got time for one more question if someone's got one. Yeah?
How did you go about choosing your high school?
So I applied to Greenhouse. The other school I was considering was Skyline. Some of the factors that went into it were like the smaller class sizes. Like I honestly at first I did pick Skyline, and I switched my decision because I was actually filming a video for Emerson, and I started crying in front of the camera because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss so many like aspects from Emerson that I thought I wouldn't necessarily get at a bigger school, even though like that might not be true, like you might get those, but I just knew that I would miss some things, and that ultimately like guided my decision to go to Greenhouse. So yeah.
So I go to WTMC, which is, much different than Emerson, where you structure your own classes more. One of the reasons I chose that was because having my own robotics team is a very time-intensive task, and having the option to take advanced classes in the college, along with being able to take robotics-related classes at the college to give me more experience and stuff I enjoy, was a huge benefit. Also being in a place where I can earn college credits before going to a four-year university has been one of the driving factors of going to WTMC instead of Skyline or Celine.
Yeah, so I go to Skyline, and though I think it's a really big culture shift from Emerson, I think that some of the big factors was that I feel like Emerson prepared me enough that I was like confident in my abilities to go into a bigger school and be exposed to so many different people, like different mentalities. Like there was just people with backgrounds and stories or types of teachers that I just never encountered before. And I think my freshman year, it was very polarizing, but I think it really lets you be out of the little Emerson bubble a little bit. And I don't think real world experience, I think is a bit of a jump. But I think having the ability to be able to see so many different like lifestyles and people and just aspirations people have just really opens your worldview, which I think is probably the biggest benefit from going to a bigger school that I've experienced.
Okay. I'm very organized, and I like everything in a very particular way. So I started with a list of all the schools that were within driving distance or that I could take a bus to, because I live in Saline. So then that was like Saline and Skyline, Huron, Pioneer, Green Hills, maybe DCTS if we felt like spending like 8 hours every day driving. But then after that it was, okay, well then, what are my top priorities? And for me that was a solid Chinese program and a tennis team. So then I crossed off all the schools that didn't have those. And then from there I talked to alumni from Emerson who went to those schools. That was definitely a good thing for me. And then I toured Skyline and I fell in love with it. But for me, it was like, I don't know. I feel like for some people, the structure of like, what are my priorities and which schools have those is a good system.
So I didn't know about DCDS until my 8th grade year, and we decided to go to the high school night. That event already passed for this year, but next year they're going to hold it again. But high school night is basically just an event where like people from all the different schools around Michigan come and talk, and you can like find a bunch of resources. Like some of the students that are already attending that school come and talk about their experiences there, and you can find like their curriculums and all about their school there. And what I did was like compared the curriculums from like, I think my top 3 choices were Detroit Country Day, Green Hills, and then Pioneer, and yeah.
Thank you. Great questions. They didn't know that that was going to happen, so this is just on the spot. So one thing that I feel and that I hear from you is just your pride that you take with you when you go to whatever school you go to as being an Emerson student, and that shows through in the sports that you're a part of, the academics that you participate in and that you do, the other programs that you're a part of. And knowing that Emerson goes into those schools and those other programs, and you're finding such great success is really, really wonderful. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you to the audience for your questions and your attention. They will be around if you have other questions.